Welcome back to the PricePlow podcast. Today we're in Long Island, New York with some of the best tasting protein manufacturers in the world, Lean Whey from MuscleSport. We've got Jason, Kate, and Rob from MuscleSport. Today we're going to be talking about your rise, how you got here, and how we love your protein so much. But first, I want to start with introductions. So we're going to go around. But first, Jason, let's get an intro, who you are, how you got here.
Jason Mancuso, CEO and founder of MuscleSport. How I got here?
Yeah, where did you start? How'd you get here?
Amazing journey. 1993, all the way back 30-something years ago, got fired from McDonald's. So I needed a part-time job, and I was walking around my town, just stopping in a strip mall. Very, very beautiful young lady working behind the counter. And I decided to go in and see if I can get a job and maybe, flirt with this girl a little bit. It was a nature food center. And I did get hired. Her boyfriend was the manager, so that never went anywhere. But that was fun. But that was my introduction to working retail in the sports nutrition and health space. I enjoyed it a lot. I sort of graduated from there. I became the youngest manager ever at GNC at like 18 years old. Then I went over to Vitamin Shoppe when they did their Northeast expansion in like the late 90s. Cool. So I was there. Then I worked for a metrics distributor in the early 2000s. And from there, I jumped to manufacturing. So that's kind of how I got where I am now in terms of learning how to flavor, learning how to formulate. I always had a real good knowledge of what every ingredient did. Probably better than I do now because I've forgotten more than I knew then. But so I worked at a manufacturing plant. I ran the operations and I did all the formulations. And that was kind of like the Wild West days, the early 2000s. So some of these companies would come to us and say, "Hey, I want to make a pre-workout. It can't be more than $3." And I'm like, $3? Like, do you give a crap what you're giving your customers at all? And they didn't. It was all about price and all about just making a quick buck, and no one cared about quality back then. We did what we had to do. Obviously, you have to make money. But in 2008, I decided I don't like this for me personally. So I started MuscleSport, and I just created like a test booster, a beta alanine product back then, and a pre-workout. And it was all stuff that I just said, this is something I would take myself, and I wanted it to be high quality, and I wanted it to taste good, because I just thought, if it doesn't taste good, why would anyone buy it? And sure. And the industry was lacking that. So I jumped in, started MuscleSport in 2008, stayed with that manufacturing company for a couple of years. I was a partner there, but MuscleSport was mine. In 2012, I broke away, and honestly, since then is when I've been grinding. Really been grinding hard to build this brand. It was a hobby for those first 4 years, but since 2012, it's been a full-time thing. I was telling you last night in one of our conversations, I probably don't remember any TV shows for the last 10 years because I never had time to watch TV. I worked my ass off. And I also had started my own manufacturing plant at that point. So I was making MuscleSport products. I was making for other customers who cared about quality. And it was a hell of a journey, and kind of, let's see, probably like 2021, right? 2020, with everything that sort of changed in the world, I had changed the business model of MuscleSport. From 2008 until about 2020, we had this very strict brick-and-mortar-only business model where we would only sell to retail stores. We wouldn't sell online, which was our model because we wanted to protect a quality product. So if you're selling online, typically it becomes a price war with this online seller selling for $10 less than this online seller, and everyone's just fighting for the same customers. And I didn't want that. I wanted to support the brick and mortars. So that's what I did. I only sold to them. And it was a very successful model. We had a lot of brick and mortars supporting us. We were probably one of the bigger brick and mortar only brands from 2012 to 2020. But with the change in just buyer habits that happened with COVID, because people were unable to leave the house, so they started shopping online more. And at that time, around 2020, 2021, we started not changing our focus. We are still 100% supporting the brick and mortars, and we do everything we can for them. We offer limited editions that you can only get at brick and mortar stores. But we started to focus more on just building the entire brand, getting it out there, getting it in front of people's faces, and marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't do marketing. Everything was guerrilla marketing up until that point. It was one store owner telling another guy, great product, you can make good money with it, and you could feel good about selling it.
Yeah.
And
so
that's...
The other people at the table are kind of part of that expansion, right? Because it seems like, so you worked in distribution was one of the things you mentioned.
Yeah.
Which I think there was an era and a generation where people focused on distribution.
Right.
Whether that was Lone Star, Europa, who now we have Sport Life and Muscle Foods and everyone else.
Right.
But there was an era where like any store you went into had like a Europa like little figurine, right? And
it was like the little bodybuilder guy.
Yeah. And that was the only way that people got this, going direct was a new thing for a while.
It was.
So when with MuscleSport, you did a lot of direct sales to
We did everything direct. I had a business called Elite Distribution. I created my own distribution as well. I was completely vertically integrated.
Right. But there's been like an expansion where it's not just about brick and mortar.
No.
And like your brand has to matter. So let's talk about who else is here as well.
Sure.
Tell us about Kate.
So Kate's essentially, she's my lady. She's essentially my wife is what I was going to say, but we're not officially married, but we are. And I met her 2020, end of 2020.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, you're good.
I'm good, right? I remember these dates. Flew her out here just to, go on a date essentially. After talking for a little while. It was 4 days. Yeah. It was truly like love at first, just conversation, and then love at first sight. She's like, so cheesy, but she completes me, and so after we met and after we got together and we realized that this is going to work out, she moved here 2 months later. Yeah, she moved here from Idaho 2 months later.
Idaho to Long Island.
I'm trying to teach her the verbiage, like forget about it. Yeah, she's got that one down.
Yeah,
that's Long Island coffee. She's learning.
I was told she came here and immediately learned how to flavor supplements.
That's what she says, but she tries to take a lot of credit for what the sup chef does, and you'll have your time, sweetheart. So she moved here, and we're just living in an apartment because at that time I had also just went through a divorce, so this was not expected to meet someone new. I wanted to just be alone for a while, Sure. And then she moved here, and then she's just hanging out at my apartment while Mr. Workaholic is at work all day long. So she said, "Hey, can I come to the office and help?" So she did, and man, what an immediate difference she made. First of all, having someone that you could have 120% trust with your business is really hard to find, and someone that gives a crap as much as you do is really hard to find. And she's a creative genius. We do joke a lot about who's the real sup chef here. It may be my title, but I will be honest that a lot of the flavors, she gives me such insight.
Like the toasted almond that we were talking about.
Yeah. Well, the toasted almond was a product we had before her, before she came around. But the rainbow Italian cookie, actually, on our first date, we went to Little Italy, and I introduced her to some of these Italian cannoli or rainbow Italian cookies. We went to some of these cafes, Ferraras, and she basically said, "Why don't you do a flavor like this?" And I said, "How would I do this?" And she literally gave me the recipe. You take a little bit of almond and you mix this and that. And I said, "I have the best almond flavor. It literally tastes like a Good Humor toasted almond bar." She's like, "Oh, really?" The next day we went to the lab. We came here to the office and we created the product together. Yeah. So that's kind of how it's been since then. She did purchasing for the company when she first started. So she got really accustomed to understanding the vendors and what goes into making products, which I handled a lot of that myself. So to have someone who I could trust so much, and also to be honest, I never wanted to give formulation to anyone else. Sure. I sort of protected that.
Sure.
That's my thing.
Right.
So to be able to kind of share that with someone was awesome. And she's done an amazing job. She's right now with the company, I mean, I guess I could pass this to her and she could kind of talk about what she does, because she does so much.
Yeah, what do you do? Tell us what you do.
Hey, I'm Jay's left-hand man and Frank is Jay's right-hand man. But I do anything from helping with flavoring. I do customer service. I am a sales rep. I do all logistics. I actually drive the truck. I do some operational things.
It's a big box truck out there.
Yeah,
That's
I
impressive.
manage the athletes, ambassadors, that platform. So I'm on marketing, sales, but I'm heavily integrated with every department here. And I feed the fish.
Very important. Fish are like the family of this place.
Yeah.
We love our fish.
Yeah.
I like kind of just being here for 2 days. I get to see like and hear like you talk about. It was everything from wholesale to supply chain to flavor. It's really cool to see someone like. We have a lot of one-dimensional people in this industry that are very good at one thing, but you don't have a large team here, but you have a very comprehensive team.
We do, yeah.
You mentioned, you kind of referred to someone as a floater, but it seems like everyone here kind of can grab different things, and that's important.
It is important, but as we're scaling, we are trying to sort of, break that down and say, hey, you're in charge of operations, you're in charge of marketing, but there's always that sort of slip and slide as far as going into other departments and needing help there.
Right.
But I think the one thing that she does, other than the creative, that's amazing, is customer service. I mean, she turned us into a customer service company.
Yeah.
And as we're evolving and turning into a sales and marketing company, from being more of a distribution company as we were for the first 15 years,
right.
It's hard to get her to say something that's not nice. People can call and say the meanest stuff, and I'm really sorry, sir. She's just the ultimate customer service person.
Well, that's a huge shift, because back in the day, like we said, it was all distribution. It's how much, like what deal you could sell to brick and mortar,
right?
Like how much could you sell to stores and then let them do the customer service.
Exactly.
I remember back in the day, you were saying like, these products weren't on websites.
No.
Because you didn't want to somehow piss off the retailers.
Exactly.
Because retailers can be kind of sensitive to that stuff.
Sure.
Because they have customers and they want to make sure they own their customers.
And they're protecting their livelihood, which, I understood. I mean, being a small business entrepreneur, they are as well. So I completely respected that.
Sure.
And respect that still.
But as you get into direct to consumer, you have to interface with customers a lot more.
Absolutely.
You have to build your brand. You have to protect your brand. You have to, you have to branch out in ways that you probably hadn't before.
Exactly. And I don't think I would be the guy to do that. What do you mean? What do you mean? There's a slight off note on the taste. Something must be wrong with your taste buds. That's how I would answer.
Yeah,
because there's no way there's something wrong with this product. We're the best.
Right.
But she knows how to talk to people
right
better.
Yeah.
Customer service is huge, because we've all been in a spot where we've had to call a company and say, help. Where's my shipment? Where's this? Can you help me? This is wrong. And we've all dealt with bad companies, and you're like, okay, see ya.
Yeah.
I'm never using you again. Yeah. So then you have people that you're like, okay, thank you. You actually made this experience easy for me. And, there's some customers that I know, I'm not going to name names, but I know them. I know how they are. I know where they live. I know their husbands. I know their husband's health issues. I know them in depth, and they call every month. Hey, Kate, can you help me with an order? Sure.
Yeah.
But I end up liking these people, but I do like it because I connect with people well. And
it's cool as we scale that we're able to sort of keep this family atmosphere, and even our customers feel like family. She's on the phone with certain customers for an hour, just talking to them about life and coaching them.
Well, we sell products that are consumed. They're ingested, and they change the chemistry of your body.
Exactly.
And that's different than selling paint for your walls.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
There's it's much more personal. It can change your livelihood. It can change your life, and that comes through in the conversations you have with customers.
Absolutely.
And so going from being literally just what's the deal of the week, your 12 plus ones, and your 20% off and stuff like that, to helping a customer add creatine to their order to understand it's not going to bloat them or ruin their stomach.
Right.
It's a completely different speed. And you guys have done a really good job of becoming a recognizable brand in the last few years since then.
We worked hard for that.
Yeah. What year did Rob come in?
Rob came in 23, correct?
24. Close.
Yeah.
The years since 2020 have been it's been
Rob
very,
and I have been friends since 23.
Yeah.
And he was
22.
and he was as long as I got this date right, I'm okay.
I was gonna say that's the one you had to get right.
Yeah. So he was sort of giving me a little bit of coaching, friendly coaching. So we were focusing on how do we build this direct to consumer business? How do we build our relationships with the end customer? Because we've never had that before. It was always through a brick and mortar store. So how do we become cool? How do we become fun? And he was coaching us on that. And as I spoke to him, I just said to myself, this is the guy I need. This is the guy that I need that is probably equal to me in terms of being a lunatic as far as being a workaholic. but finding some balance in life as well, and he does a great job with that. But also taking that direct consumer business and just using data, and assessing the marketplace and helping us scale that to the next level.
I think all the best brands that I run into have a yin and yang when it comes to like the operators of it.
Yeah.
Right. Mike and I certainly do that, but with you guys, it seems like there's a lot of that where you've had a background in the old school of formulas and manufacturing and distributing, and Rob brings like a younger direct consumer, like he understands what consumers are looking for and how to build a community and brand around it. And it's seemingly come out of nowhere. You mentioned in 2021, you had changed things since COVID.
Yes.
And everything changed since COVID.
A lot changed.
Convenience became a huge factor.
It did.
And not in just like, we've talked a lot about like the RTD factor. A lot of people don't want to mix things, but even in just shopping, people don't leave their house. People, 65% of shopping starts on Amazon.
Right.
Like, people just want to get a product as quickly as possible, not even leave social media. You guys are doing well on TikTok for that reason. People see something, they want to buy it right now through their PayPal and just have it show up. And you guys have done a really good job of kind of like allowing that, like kind of like getting into that. And it's funny because my earliest memory of you guys is your Vitamin Shop launch.
Yeah.
With the Rhino Black. I'm a content person, so I just remember you guys did a big push with that with Vitamin Shop. But after that, it's like there's this vague, all of a sudden, like lean weights everywhere.
Yeah.
Like around like 2022, 2023, and then 2024 was like the year of the lean whey protein. Like every single month I tried a new flavor of it. And you mentioned that at a certain year you decided you wanted everything to just be fun. You wanted to have fun with all of it, which is really cool. I've had a lot of fun here with you guys. It's a very family atmosphere.
Yeah.
And even when Rob is really stressed out about things, you guys are having fun. There's a focus on like enjoying it, which is the process should be fun, which is really it's cool. Has that always been a focus for you, or is that a new thing?
I think it's a new thing. I think it's me getting a little older and maturing and just realizing that I took everything so serious, and if I don't calm down a little bit, I'm probably going to have a heart attack at a young age. To be just super transparent, I was high strung and aggressive and amazing for building the base. I mean, I don't think we'd have this base that I built without me being that way. And I still have that in me.
That's a commonality I find in the old guard from distribution.
Yeah.
All the guys that came from distribution, you guys are all grinders.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that like New York, like Northeast, grittiness, that hustle culture. But finding that balance is really powerful, I think.
When I was in my 20s, I was driving a box truck, and I would just load it up with product, and I would start in New York and Long Island, and I would end in Maine, and I would do a 2-day trip, and I would just literally visit every single gym, every single store, and take orders and deliver orders for a distribution company that I owned back then. So I had no problem working 15-hour days, driving a truck, eating Taco Bell, thinking it was healthy back then because it was chicken and rice, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's been really important to me to make sure that this is fun, and I think we did a really good job with that. And like you said, I don't know if we want to officially introduce Rob or if you want to jump into maybe my lean whey story and why we changed a little bit of the mission.
Let's talk about Rob first.
Yeah.
Rob, introduce yourself. What is your name? What is your title here? What do we do?
So my name is Rob. I'm the Executive Vice President and CMO here. I started in 2024. My industry background, I actually started the way a lot of people in this industry did in retail, and that was a part-time job in college, and then I worked for Man Sports for a year, went back to retail, more or less just wanted to go home. You always want to be around your family, your friends, go back to your home base. And I was in retail up until about 2017. And then I worked for Giant Sports for about 2 years, worked for an ingredient supplier for a couple of years, then eventually went more towards the brand side. So that's when I kind of started focusing more on learning the tricks of the trade for e-commerce and brand development. And I was working for 2 different agencies from 2000 and probably right around 2020 up until about 2023. Actually, I had a second stint with Giant Sports. And then one day, I mean, I had been friends with Jason since 2022, and we had just kept in contact loosely over the years. And I had been going through a lot of personal stuff at the end of 2023. And Jay just reached out to me and talked to me for a few hours about everything just to check on me. So it was actually right around that time that he asked me, would there ever be an opportunity like to do something full time? And the timing on it was just pretty serendipitous, honestly. Came aboard. I mean, it felt natural from the start, and it was just a really cool experience. I mean, Kate's like a sister to me at this point. She gives me plenty of life advice that's definitely needed. Helps keep everybody sane. We'll say it's sort of like working with your brother, and that's kind of the cool thing. Where Jay's my older big brother in that sense, and then everyone on the team here, from Randy, Brandon, everyone over the years, everyone has fun doing what we're doing. And I think that when everyone's having fun, that's kind of what you see it in the brand. Mm-hmm. So from 2024, that was, the launch schedule got a little bit hectic, but I think that overall, like to your point, it became a year where we really made a lot of noise for all the right reasons.
Yeah. It was cool because as someone who really covers all the launches, it was wow, there's so much protein coming out. I don't know how people can keep up with this. Because I'm doing at least one protein video every month, and doing one launch a month, that doesn't sound like a lot to normal consumers probably, but it is a lot. The campaign that goes into, people don't understand, it's anywhere between probably 8 to 12 weeks before that you submit the order for it, which means that you were flavoring it probably 3 months ago, and then you have to wait for the order to come in
6 months ago.
Yeah, if you're doing it right. You know, a lot of people are flying by the seat of their pants.
but we're planning and plotting.
That's good.
Way before that, because it's you can't have a Christmas flavor in June.
No.
So we know what we're going to do for Christmas.
For sure.
You know.
And then, it gets in and you have to have content ready. You have to have all of your image ready. Your ambassadors have to be ready. And then, if you're doing retail, which you guys are really supporting still,
yes,
then those, customers have to be putting in orders, and you have to be shipping pallets, which is not like shipping a box. And all of that becomes a lot of work, so that, one launch a month, which is not what you guys are doing, but even if it was just one launch a month, that's a lot on its own. And it's the whole year of you guys doing that. I think it's really commendable how you guys have been able to build all of that. And then, there's still stores ordering entire pallets at that, at that rate. People are excited about it. You walk into a store and you see a wall of these really cool labels. It's, it comes through that you guys are having fun because the labels are fun. The content is fun. The flavors are fun. I really enjoyed the skits that you guys have gotten into. I think Randy's added a lot to the team with that.
She has. Yeah, she's great.
And seeing you guys kind of get more in front of the camera is really cool.
Yeah.
We've known you guys for a while, but
right,
starting to see your personality on video is
being a little silly.
Cool. The silliness is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're similar in that when TikTok first came out, Mike and I were I'm never dancing on TikTok, and I still don't dance on TikTok. But
I saw your moves on the back earlier. When you thought no one was looking, man. You do have some good moves.
I've got hips.
You do have hips. Yeah.
But getting in front of the camera, having fun with it, I think it speaks to a lot of people. I think people of course for years bought your products without really knowing who it is. That's kind of like the distribution time of it. It's just a product on a shelf. But in today's day and age, people want to connect with the brand.
Yeah.
The founders' content is really big right now. And so to see the people behind the brand and see oh, they're just like us, they might
and
own
we
a
are
company or whatever. Yeah. We all have
right,
very relevant, whatever stuff we go through in life, or
Right.
you guys have funny jokes in your videos that we all
Yeah.
can relate to, and
Yeah.
it kind of helps out a lot. And it seems like the e-commerce push has been like a big focus for you, and like content around that. Is that you feel like you've helped out a lot with that?
Yeah, and I think that it also, at the end of the day, that sort of approach takes a village, right? Because when you're trying to build a brand, you're trying to focus on so many channels nowadays. You're trying to make sure that everything's rising, proportionally across all channels. And it's kind of like conducting an orchestra, where you can have a really great brass section, but then you also have to make sure that you're adding to the percussion section and making sure that everything kind of flows and makes the music that you want it to. And I think that the biggest thing that we saw over the past year was just growth in terms of overall demand for the product. And then it kind of builds that flywheel, because now we're, able to expand our retail footprint, our distribution footprint, because there's demand. And if there's demand at the consumer level, to a degree, it solves a lot of those issues that people talk about as far as, well, I got the placement, but getting it off the shelf is the real test.
That's a really funny thing to say too, because then you hear from the retailers that you need to make demand for them. Back in the day, it was just you sold it in and they sold it. But now you're competing against, brands that make a ton of demand, because consumers are definitely going into store requesting certain brands.
Absolutely.
Right. But those brands might be more heavily D2C than you guys are. So maybe a lot of these retailers are not selling them. So like when those customers come in looking for that company, but the brand is going to bring them over to this company because it's what they have on shelf. Like, what are you offering there, right? How are you helping them make that? But then also, what's the likelihood that they're going to recognize your product on that shelf? That helps out a lot, right? If you have hit these people on their For You page on TikTok 6 times in the last 30 days, then when they get brought over to the shelf and they see it, they're going to say, oh, I know Lean Whey. I've seen that online. And so that makes a huge difference for those people.
Absolutely.
I like the orchestra analogy because, you can have a really great brass section that can be really impressive, but like your percussion section really needs to be together, for the whole thing to work. There was a time when everyone was saying omnichannel. Everyone was talking about omnichannel strategy. And it was just kind of like a buzzword, but no one was really doing it well. And I feel like, you guys have done a good job of managing all of it. I kept asking you guys this week, how much of this, you talk about like a protein sale or whatever, how much of these products do well in retail versus consumer? And almost every time you're like, it's kind of 50-50 right now. We're doing well in both. And that's really commendable.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up with that.
And that D2C grew from almost nothing in 2021 to 50% of the business.
Yeah.
And it's not like that was a downward spiral on the other side. The other side is growing too.
Right. That's what's impressive about it is that,
Yeah.
you guys have great placement in retail, but there's a great focus on your products online as well. And I think the flavor experience really helps out with that. And we talk about flavor a lot, but your labels are great as well.
I think the labels are amazing.
Yeah.
I think they help me sell the flavors that I create.
Of course.
And we always talk about, when we're going back and forth on label design, it's do you want to eat that damn label? Seriously,
100%.
And that's kind of how we push our designer. Would you eat that, buddy?
Yeah. Well, the neckbands do a great job of kind of like bringing it all together. It's one thing that I always notice with your products is that the neckbands they look delicious.
They're a manufacturing nightmare. They're a manufacturing nightmare from efficiencies and things like that.
Yeah.
But they're so important to the look of the product that we go with it.
Yeah.
Every manufacturer I work with has said, can you get rid of the neckbands?
Yep. I've seen, not yours, but like, I've in the back, I've seen, in the past, I've seen neck sleeves come upside down.
Yeah.
Sometimes they come a little torn. It's funny. Some companies, when they send to us, they're like, can you please start the video before you open up the neckband? Because we spend so much time on that. Like, I need it to get shown. And I get it, because it's a labor of love.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, the only problem with these neckbands, and you've seen it ever, like brands do like the full body sleeve.
Yep.
The second you open it up, it doesn't look good again.
No.
Yeah, the whole label's just gone.
Yeah. So I like the way you guys do yours. I love the clear bottles.
Yep.
Because you can see the inclusions, right? Like,
Yes.
And flavor right now is king.
Yes.
It is king.
Yes.
But it's also the most commoditized thing.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Everyone-
It's becoming.
Yeah.
For sure.
Everyone kind of
People learned a lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't sell bad tasting supplements.
No.
Yeah, and kind of with commoditization, like the thing that you notice is that's a common theme with a lot of like categories in the industry right now. But when you take something like the flavoring systems and the overall experience, you like the main thing I think that we do really well, and I think we've talked about this in depth, is it's an experience. So it's not just the flavor, it's the texture, it's everything you associate with the flavor that kind of, I guess you could say, takes what is by and large a commodity as far as the protein category, but then takes it to a second gear more or less.
You sort of do it intuitively too. You know, I asked Jason a lot of questions about flavor strategy and formula and stuff like that. And most of the time the answer was like, I just do it this way because that's what I like. And that's like, I mean, you do so many flavors that like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of the stuff that you guys do just makes sense. It's incredibly premium. It stands out compared to other companies, but
it's funny because it all sort of started with the Lean Whey back in, I think it was 13 or 14. And I went to some restaurant and I had this fruity cereal creme brulee. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I went to the office the next day and I tried to knock it off in a protein powder. And I didn't necessarily knock it off, but what I did do is I created lean charms right there and then. And the finishing touches was adding actual cereal marshmallows to the product. And I believe we were probably one of the first to do that. And we took a lot of, sort of negative publicity at that point. Who's putting marshmallows into a protein product? This is supposed to be healthy. And our rebuttal was always, sort of, there's less than 1 gram in there, man. It's not even 1% of the formula. It's really, it goes back to you. It's creating an experience. It's making it real. It's bringing you back to when you were a child and you used to eat cereal, but now this is healthy. Mm-hmm. And we've tried to do that over a lot of the flavors.
I find a lot of the magic comes from like the marrying of different flavors.
Yeah.
It's easy to do a great vanilla.
Right.
But then you start.
It's not easy to do a great vanilla.
Well,
that's my biggest challenge, I feel. Everyone thinks they have a great vanilla. I want to do a great vanilla. That's my ultimate.
Mike talks about this a fair amount. He's a big critic of vanilla. But like, I feel like you can generally go out there and get a vanilla and be like, okay, I can eat this for 30 days. Yeah. But like when you marry flavors, right? Yes. It's the creme brulee and the Fruit Loops. It's the the Cadief with the pistachio. It's like and then adding in the strawberries.
Yes.
Like it's when you start to add those experiences together, that's when I get like that Lean Whey effect, where it's like, okay, there's 2, 3, 4 inclusions. There's these other notes like the cinnamon, which isn't necessarily like a candy inclusion, but like when you called it inclusion, I was like, that is totally an inclusion because that cinnamon, like it floats and you get that.
Right.
But you guys do that with the experience visually too, right? Like
we do.
Like this bottle, dude, the crispy cookie bottle.
Yep.
For people who can't watch the video right now, if you're listening, like it's a gorgeous bottle that I literally want to eat the cookies on it.
Yes.
And
it looks fun too, because it's sort of cartoony a little bit, but it still looks delicious.
But it's funny because like probably since you were doing your distribution days with the box truck, there were chocolate chip cookie proteins. They claimed. I'm not saying they were good.
Yeah.
But like the concept itself is not necessarily new, but the delivery and the experience is. And it's like, it's funny to ask you, like, what did you do different? You're like, I don't know. I just kind of did what made sense. And it totally makes sense. Like, yes, there's cookie pieces in here, but if you're craving a cookie and you're on a diet,
right,
eating this with 25 grams of protein, and like, we can talk about your fat metabolizing matrix and everything. But like, even without that, 25 grams of protein versus 300 calories of sugar,
exactly,
is a much better deal to be getting 25 grams of protein with a gram of sugar.
And who eats one cookie? But you have one shake and you're actually satisfied.
Yeah.
Because we also add fiber, so that kind of keeps you full for a little while.
Oh yeah.
So it is a full experience. Though.
Yeah, and it's funny because then that fiber really like it's a thicker experience, it's
and no one really made isolates that had a good mouthfeel. Isolates were always very thin, so we took an isolate and I added MCT fats. I added some gums and just different things to help thicken it up and and just enhance the overall experience because of that. I mean, it tastes like a milkshake.
Yeah, every one of your flavors,
and that's with water.
Yeah.
You add milk or something, you could juice these up all you want, but you don't necessarily have to.
I get comments from people that are like, you should mix this with milk for your video. And I'm like, if I can do this with water,
Right.
how impressive is that? And then
Yeah.
of course then you go mix, whatever,
Right.
milk or whatever, and it's even better. So this has become, since we really should talk about like when you start to lean into it.
Sure.
But this has become like a huge SKU for you.
It has. Yeah.
But before 2020, you weren't just a protein company. It was popular, but you had other focuses.
We were a very well-rounded company. I felt we had really really solid formulas on our pre-workouts. Our aminos sold great. Lean Whey was always about 40% of the business, but I didn't want to be a protein company. As you kind of discussed earlier, you're not shipping one box; you're shipping pallets. The protein business is hard. It's hard to make money. It's expensive. You have to sit on a lot of inventory, and it's hard to ship. So I always tried to find that balance of being maybe more of a pre-workout company or offering a lot of pills and things like that. Even though I think even as far back as 2014, 15, people recognized that we had probably one of the better tasting proteins out there with the lean charms, and we were going into like the cereal flavors at that point. But I fought it. I definitely fought it. But come 2021, I was speaking to Ryan Bucky, fitness informant, and he said, "What are you doing, man? Like you're the best flavor guy in the industry as far as protein goes. Why don't you just double down and go crazy?" And I was always sort of like the Tupac of formulators, where I had probably 100 formulas done, ready to go, but that I was just sitting on. Seriously, like Tupac would release a song 5 years after he was dead. that could be me. I have so many formulas done. So in 2021, I just said let's just start making a scene, because at that point, COVID was hard. I had shut down one of my other businesses, so I felt like I was going through some tough times. I went through a divorce. My dogs died, which was a heartbreaker for me. So for me personally, it was a really tough year or two. And for Ryan to say that to me and kind of like, "You're the best, man. What are you sulking over? Like, let's go." So I decided to just double down and I wanted to make a scene. I wanted Ben to talk about me. I wanted Ben to talk about me every month. I wanted Ryan to talk about me every month. And I wanted them to keep saying, "Wow, this is the best protein I ever had." And then the next month, "Wow, this one's even better." And it's starting to get to the point where it's like, you guys know this is the best I've ever had. And it started to become so repetitive. But I think that's what we were shooting for. Is to just keep one-upping ourselves and keep creating separation between the next best player in the game.
It was impressive, because I feel like a lot of the times that, at least the criticism for us has been we talk about the same brands frequently.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to see you guys not come out of nowhere. Not to say that you weren't recognized for flavor, but like all of a sudden you were the only person that people were talking about when it came to protein flavors, especially in retail.
Yes.
Retail is a tough category to capture the love of.
Yeah.
It's like, what have you done for me lately? Constantly.
Yeah.
Retailers, and they built this industry. We got all the love in the world for those guys, but like it's hard to capture their love and maintain it. And you guys did a great job of like every store that I went into was excited about MuscleSport.
And the cool thing about protein too is when you offer a lot of flavors, then when you go into a retail store, there's walls of your product. So you're immediately recognized, as opposed to if you have the best fat burner, great. I mean, you're probably making a hell of a lot of money, but there's one bottle on a shelf.
Yeah.
When you go into a store, it's recognition. You're getting recognized.
It used to be the saying that pills paid the bills.
Pills do pay the bills to some degree.
Yeah,
but if you do protein the right way, you could still pay the bills.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that market's gone away largely.
I think it has too.
Right? I mean, outside of like retailers selling SARMs and stuff like that, like that's always going to be around maybe. But proteins and pre-workouts have been like, that's like a major stack for most people now.
Yeah.
And protein has had a meteoric rise. Everyone knows protein now.
Yes.
Creatine obviously is having its day right now, but I don't think there's any controversy over protein anymore. It used to be like it's going to hurt your kidneys or whatever, but like I think everyone kind of knows.
You don't want to take too much.
Yeah.
And now it's recognized by, I mean, even what is it, the FDA that does the food pyramid saying that you need more protein essentially, right?
It's upside down now.
Right, that's just turned upside down, right?
Yeah.
So, and when Rob came in, all he did was stress demand. We just have to keep building demand. So by doing what we're doing and having people talk about us, then people started looking for MuscleSport. People started going into the stores looking for MuscleSport. People started coming to our site looking for MuscleSport. And I think one of the things that we do really well is because we release so many flavors, customers don't leave us. We have amazing customer retention because once they try this flavor and they're done with the bottle, we're releasing this one, and they want to try it. You know, we did a video at our house last week. How many flavors did we pull out of the cabinets? Probably 40.
Yeah, probably 40.
Probably 40 bottles, and we have customers. Like, she manages all of our ambassadors. We have a whole chat, and she gets completely personal with them. It's they could ask her a question right now if they wanted to, and she'll answer them. And same thing with them. They have bottles and bottles of Lean Whey, you know, and they create such variety. Why do they ever want to leave us? Even if someone else is like almost as good as us, there's no reason to even try it.
Yeah.
The experience is not the same.
And I think it's funny because one of like the feedbacks that we used to get when it came to wild flavors was like, well, I can't finish this in 30 days or something. But like, it's funny because then people put like 3 different flavors in their cupboard and they'll move in between them. I know that's how I am, you know, like I love all your flavors, but not all of them I can have every single day.
Of course.
Some of them are pretty strong, but like, you know, after a leg day or something, like I'll you know, one or the other, but you still have staples. You still have like kind of core chocolates, like you know, cookies and stuff like that. It's not all you know, Dubai chocolate. Yeah. And you guys do a good job of having like, you know, your staples and then your wild ones. You know, we did some April Fool's stuff yesterday. Where like I was like, you know, I probably wouldn't have this every day, but people buy that kind of stuff because they like that stuff as a kind of a one-off. So speaking of like kind of that topic, is your Lean Whey becomes so much of your business,
right? And
then recently you launch a creamed rice,
yes,
which then becomes your number 2 product.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, where did the inspiration for that product come from? Where did you think of it?
It's funny because I was speaking to someone, and I can't remember who, but they were telling me that cream of rice was very, very popular in Europe. And I just said to myself, I don't know. I don't know if I see that becoming something here in the States. And I watched, and I started seeing cream of rice companies that were seemingly doing very well. So I said to myself, this is such a simple transition. If I can take my flavor systems and just put it on cream of rice, then let's give it a shot. So we honestly, we went to our ambassadors and we said, what do you think? And they all went crazy. So we launched it. And it was as simple as that.
It's tasty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's granulated rice and flavor.
That's it.
It's funny because I had a bunch of bags of it and I'm just not a big cream of rice person.
I wasn't either.
Yeah, I mean, I like you and I had similar thought processes. Like I eat oats and I eat rice. Like I don't know, I eat food.
But oats are bloating.
Really,
for me at least. Yeah, and for a lot of people.
I've definitely seen a lot of complaints about oats.
Yeah.
But
I'm not against them. I like them. Trust me. You know.
Yeah.
But
our videographer Cody was like, "Have you tried this? Like, you gonna try it? Like, you really enjoy it?" And I just pulled out a bag and I mixed 2 scoops and. Like an hour later, I'd eaten all of it, and I was like, "Wow, that actually really was really good." It's kind of it's fun.
Again, it's fun, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of your flavors come back to that, and it is fun. For a while, cream of rice was a thing to mix protein into.
We thought about that. We thought about doing a high protein cream of rice, but then we realized if we just sell flavored cream of rice, then people could add our Lean Whey to that.
Yeah,
and they can customize it however they want.
Yeah,
and then they're having fun again because they're creating their own creation. You know, it's a Rocky Road Dubai chocolate cream of rice, or you know, a crispy cookie, you know, huckleberry cream, whatever they're doing. And they're having fun with it.
It can be tough to decide upon. Oh, you're talking about carbs.
Yes,
like the ratio of protein to carbs is like that's very personal. For a lot of people. You know, some people are still afraid of carbs. Some people love carbs. Tony likes to drink 75 grams of carbs before his workout. I like 15. You know, like there's It'd be very hard. I'm sure you are aware of this. It's hard to please everyone with customers.
Absolutely.
So I like what you guys did. It's just fun. Like I can have eggs and then like a huckleberry cream of rice with it. Right. Like you can add some really fun stuff.
And I believe we're the first to add inclusions to the cream of rice as well, which no one's done. They've done flavored cream of rice, but we went ahead and we did what we did with Lean Whey and we started adding inclusions. So again, you add less than a gram of something that enhances the flavor and the experience a lot.
So, Rob, with all of this like expansion, how was the expansion from being retail heavy to building a community? Like, where do you even start with that?
So I think the first thing that kind of jumps off the page that maybe doesn't kind of, I guess you could say, make the biggest headlines in this sense is when you look at lean whey and then you look at creamed rice, you look at Mitaburn and like Carnish Red Mitaburn, you look at creatine and hydration. All the products really, not just visually, but from a formula standpoint, are complementary. So everyone talks about getting efficacious doses. And when you look at what you're getting efficacious doses, but not the maximum dosage in a lot of these products. So you're getting 250 on Mitaburn versus, I think you're aiming for about 500 to 1,000. Your mileage may vary. But if you're taking one serving of that, if you're taking pre-lean, you're getting more GBB between the two of them. You're getting the added MCTs, the fiber. Like everything does play fairly perfectly. I don't like to say perfectly, but about as perfectly as you can get. So when you have the tools, it makes it easier because you're building an experience. Like ultimately, you're building an emotional response is what you want. You want people to enjoy what they're taking. You want them to, because it's easier to take something consistently and stay on track when you enjoy it. And I think that like with what Kate and Randy have done as far as the personal touches and being directly interactive with our ambassadors and the team on that front, that part of the community building has been huge because when you have people that really are advocates for the brand just because they truly like what you're doing, believe in what you're doing, that sort of, it's hard to quantify how big of an impact that has because it is so, it's seismic, honestly. And then it ultimately comes down to making sure that people are able to find you. Obviously, the space nowadays is one of the most competitive categories probably worldwide. So having a strong community base where you can bounce ideas off of, where you can talk to people and test things, that gives you the freedom to take some of the risks that we did. Because admittedly, going into a functional food product in any capacity is always a little bit of a risk, although calculated. So I think that when you look at what we talked about before as far as building demand, once you have people that are accustomed with the brand, have tried 1 to 2 products, and we retain them, they become advocates for the brand, whether they're ambassadors or influencers. Usually once people try it, they become organic advocates for the brand. And I think that that's, at the end of the day, when you think about marketing, it's the most sincere form of marketing is word of mouth. Everything matters as far as paid media, paid advertising, channel-specific marketing. But when you have that proof of concept and word of mouth behind you, it's really hard for people to question it in some capacity. So I think that kind of sums everything up as far as the community is the core of everything, but it allows the wheel to continue to spin.
Yeah, I'm glad you said wheel. You said flywheel earlier when you were talking about it, and that's how I always think about like marketing is like a flywheel of UGC, because like if you can kind of kickstart that flywheel with your ambassadors or your paid media, right? Like, nice. You get PricePlow and Fitness Informant their unit early on. That content starts to run, and then your ambassadors get theirs, and they're starting to run, and then your retailers have theirs, and they're making content, and then all of a sudden consumers see it, and then they're buying it off of TikTok because it's linked into those videos, or that content gets thrown into an email newsletter, and then you're like notifying people who have already purchased something. There's this new product, and people are already enjoying it. Like creates momentum.
Yeah,
and, momentum is very valuable in a lot of different categories, whether it's Amazon or TikTok, but like just literally for product launches, you're kind of just like allowing that wheel to continue moving. And, Kate's like stoking that fire with the ambassadors and talking to them. It just continues to burn. And it's, as someone who, I do marketing consulting or I've worked at brands before, it's hard to like put that into words for your boss of like, what did you do for the last 2 weeks? And like, you've been sitting in a Facebook group for 2 weeks, having conversations with people about flavors. And that doesn't sound like it's worth a salary, but that pays out because you're like investing in that community and they feel connection, they like the product, and they're going to talk about it more. And then people are going to realize like, oh, I already saw so-and-so talk about it. And it continues this burn where people are getting more into it. And now they've bought 2 flavors of Lean Whey, even though they haven't finished the first one, because they're excited about what someone said about that. And it becomes like part of the family. And then, they're investing into your creatine and hydration. They're looking at your other lean products. They're looking at how can I stack with this, and it becomes like you guys mentioned, like a family where they want to be part of it. It's an experience, like
it is. Yeah.
it's the colors of the labels that they relate to, or they like the feel that they have with it, or maybe they're Italian, they like the Italian flags.
We've got that too. Yeah.
There's a lot to it where people like relate to it, and it's fun.
Absolutely.
It's a whole experience that it's hard to explain to people. All these brands have their own personalities, but if you can kind of own that and like be authentic in it, I think people really can tell.
Yeah, it's definitely when you're not being authentic, you can feel it. Like the consumer feels it. And if that's what they feel, they're never going to really resonate with the brand. And that's also why I think like putting you guys out there and letting people see behind the scenes, it's fun. Because ultimately, people aren't going to relate to the bottle of protein. They're going to relate to what they see as far as the people building the brand and putting the emphasis on that. So I think that putting that focus over the past year and a half has really been great because, I mean, you guys have a cool story. So it's awesome when people get to see that resonate and more or less understand like, hey, I went through something similar when you guys open up about your personal things. So I think that's the other thing. If you're a brand, the brand has to have an identity, but then the people behind it have to, also have stories to tell that are easy to resonate with.
Yeah, we stayed late last night talking about a lot of different things, and AI is such a huge topic right now when it comes to marketing and content. There's the possibility that you could be buying products from a fake person who's just telling you to buy it because they like it, and that person's never tried it. They don't even exist. But I think that like the authenticity of hearing from someone and being able to tell that they're imperfect but authentic, and real. I've heard a lot that like imperfection and maybe even analog feel to things is really important right now, because the perfection of AI makes things feel unattainable, or it's unrelatable for a lot of people. Most people don't look perfect every day. Most people don't speak perfectly. Like, we screw up pronouncing Kadif, or the neckband on here is not perfect, but like that's good. People relate to that. And it's funny, like when we look at the skits with you guys, like you're not Timothée Chalamet, you're not like an Oscar award winning like actor, and that's good because I personally, when I see content from people in their huge mansion and the bottles are perfect and their hair's like it just recently blown out and they have their like it's like that's not attainable, like in my feelings, right? That's not relatable. I don't see myself in that, and I think a lot of people feel that way.
I think so too.
It's cool to have humor and just relatable factors where you can see yourself in that.
And we've been able to build a business without having like an influencer, like a famous influencer working with us. Whereas maybe other brands are basically saying you could look like this influencer if you take our product. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're saying you could be more consistent with your goals if you take our product, because you're going to enjoy our product and you're going to see results with our product, and you're going to be consistent because you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's been as simple as that.
It goes along with like your flavors. Like we talked a lot about over the last couple of days, is like you guys don't cut out the sweets, like Kate cooks a lot of cheesecake.
Yeah.
Like
but she adds protein to it. I mean, it's 60 grams of protein a slice.
Yeah, and you still sit in your sauna in the morning.
I'm very consistent and disciplined.
Yeah,
but I eat cheesecake.
That's important.
Yeah.
There's all those memes of like my body type is I work out, but I won't say no to tacos. That's important for a lot of people, and I think that it makes people more approachable. When they look at huge muscly guys or whatever, like, or like shredded women,
right?
It can be hard to say like, oh, I'm not like those people. Like, I'm just trying to lose 10 pounds. Yep. It's hard to relate to that.
It does feel unattainable, I think, for a lot of people. And I think a lot of people these days, it maybe even makes them feel bad about themselves that they're comparing that. Everyone's trying to compare themselves to perfection.
Yeah. Well, I think so there's like a I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
And so they stay where they are.
Right.
Whereas maybe if they understood that these are just habits,
yep.
It's lifestyle choices,
yep.
that we can adopt some and live in a healthy way where
right.
we are working out, but we're not saying no to tacos.
Of course.
Like we
gotta have
sushi.
balance.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to enjoy that life. And so
you can still look amazing and have sushi and tacos
and
once
be
in a
happy.
while. And be happy.
I'm definitely happier with sushi and tacos.
Of course. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And so I think your branding and your labeling kind of lends to that, right?
Yeah.
Because you guys have been able to stay authentically yourselves and
Yep.
and still do all these things. It's commendable.
And I think it was a really good grab doing that, and we simplified a lot of our formulas too. Back in the early days, I had the most intricate of formulas and a lot of crazy science behind everything I did. And not that I've removed that from what we do, but some of our better selling products are very simple. Like Lean Whey, yes, it has a fat metabolizing matrix in there, but it's really just the best tasting whey protein you're going to find. Our creatine hydration touches on two very hot topics right now: creatine and hydration. You put them in one product, it's simple. You get people purchasing those products, and we become part of their daily. Like they're taking those products every single day. The cream of rice, they're taking that every single day, and now what we're starting to bring back is some of the science. Like we just launched some wellness products, because for me, wellness is extremely important, especially as I get older and I want to stay as young as possible, and I want to stay have as much vitality and energy and continue at this insane pace that I've been going at for 30 years. I want to feel good about myself. So we've launched Synergy, which is a multivitamin powder that actually tastes good, but it's not your standard multi. It has gut health ingredients, it has brain health ingredients, it kind of covers everything. So now we're able to go back to these customers and start to educate them, but keep it simple. Keep it simple. It's not overbearing. It's not too much science behind it, although it's there. And if you want to look into it, you'll find it. But now you have the best tasting multivitamin powder, and this is also something you should be taking every day. And I think that's something we've been talking about lately, is just becoming part of people's day.
Yeah, this is a really hot take, but we were talking about this yesterday, is that removing proprietary blends and moving into transparency has killed creativity for a lot of people.
It has, yeah.
Right? These TikTokers have it all wrong. They look at things as like a rubric. Does your product have X, Y, or Z?
Yep.
If not, then it's crap. Right? There's no creativity to things. There's no freedom to, we say that your Dubai chocolate is a pistachio flavor, but the flavor that you're really enjoying is a bit of almond in there.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
And people would look at it and be like, well, you used almond instead of pistachio. I know there's pistachio in there as well.
Yes,
but
yes.
If you tried to explain that, they'd be like, well, it's Dubai chocolate is actually a pistachio. It's not an almond.
Right.
But they look at that same way when it comes to pre-workout.
Perception.
Or, your ashwagandhas, right? I think you guys use Shodan in your product.
No, we use KSM, but I'm working on a nighttime product that would use Shodan, because I believe Shodan's better at night.
Yeah.
This one is more of a day time.
Yes. Yeah. But
that's the science, actually.
Right. And people will look at KSM versus Shodan, and a lot of people are very familiar with KSM, but they might not be familiar with Shodan. And so,
right.
like, you see these comments where people are like kind of conjecture to you, like, hey, this has got to be what we want it to be. And all that, I don't know, all of the creativity is lost in it. It is. I like the simplicity that you guys have moved to, because we joked about pre-workout. How many pre-workout formulas have you done in your life?
So many.
And a lot of the times, I feel like if I did a blind test with you and didn't tell you what was in it, your experience might not be all that varied between them.
No.
I've been really surprised with myself with like blind testing some pre-workouts where I'm able to tell, like, oh, this one had this and this one had that. But majorly, you go into a lot of stores and you buy 3 pre-workouts and take them without looking at the ingredients, you're going to have a better workout, you're going to have better focus and energy and a better pump.
Yep.
And the details between those get lost a lot of the time.
Yes.
But people will be up in arms over a milligram here or a milligram there. And I think they're losing the sight of like the whole goal, which is to have a better workout, to improve your lifestyle and be healthy.
Right.
And instead they're trying to argue at the differences between these formulas. And I mean, engagement's great, right? Like, I welcome it.
But to your point, sometimes consumers are losing the forest through the trees, because when you have 8 grams of citrulline versus 7 grams of citrulline, but then you add vasodrive in, there's certain benchmarks that people probably aim for nowadays. But at the same time, when you go down and look at ingenuity, it's just not going to say completely lacking, but it's fewer and further between now.
And poor Kate has to now answer all the questions about people who like want to know why you did this versus that.
Yeah.
Did leaving manufacturing and like trusting contract manufacturers change the way that you looked at some of that?
I don't think it made me formulate differently necessarily. Maybe a little bit. Maybe I simplified things a little bit just to make sure that there was no mistakes because I wasn't able to directly control it. But I have such strong relationships with my manufacturers, and I basically hand them the formula sheet and say, make this.
Yeah.
I have that much control. So, but I also, because I manufactured before, I would load up my formulas and I would buy 25 kilos of a raw material, and I never thought about it back in the day, but I'm sitting on 23 of that, so you're not making any money.
Right.
So I don't want to do that to my manufacturers. I'm a really good customer, I believe, because I understand how it works. So I've simplified things a lot. But if I want something in a formula, I'm going to push them and I'm going to tell them they need to get it. And I'm not going to cut corners,
right?
Because I don't want them buying a certain material. I'm absolutely going to put the best product I can out there.
Sure,
but it has to make sense.
I feel like when you're manufacturing yourself, you could be like very nimble, like make a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yes,
right. Like if you
just could launch anything.
Yeah,
and I did. I had 8 brands at that point. And if I wasn't sure if something would work, I'd just throw it under one of my side brands and make 288 units in my own manufacturing plant and see how it sold.
Yeah.
And it would sell because we had this whole brick and mortar network. But did I get reorders? Was there demand for that product? Or was that product just taking up shelf space from MuscleSport? And that's what I started to realize is I'm competing against myself.
This was a big realization that I had at a certain point in maybe 2017, 2018, which I think you probably felt the same thing, is that the main focus of supplement sales was push. Call as many stores as possible, give them deals, push into their stores.
Yep.
And then once they had the product, it was their problem. And I feel like now there's so much more pull. How much demand can we make so that these people want to buy these products?
Right.
Right. And I think you kind of said that really well, is how much demand can we make through consumers so that these retailers want to buy the product? Not that you're forcing a retailer's hand or anything, but you're really helping them. You're helping them understand that when they do buy a whole pallet of Lean Whey, consumers are going to come in and be excited by the label. They're going to recognize it. They're going to be excited to get the new flavor when it drops. And they're going to be we're not doing midnight releases with flavors or anything, but they're looking forward to it.
We also did a retail exclusive flavor. And I think that's done really well because you can only find it in retail stores. I get calls all the time, Kate, can I get that? Where can I get it? Can you send me a link? Can you please just add it on? Nope.
Yeah.
This is where you go.
That's really cool.
Stores like that.
Of course.
And it's a great flavor. It's the white chocolate peanut butter. It's one of our best flavors, but it's not available on our website. You have to go to one of our stores to get it.
Is it at multiple stores?
It's it's only available at brick and mortar stores.
Oh, so it's retail exclusive.
It's retail exclusive.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And so
so we're maybe even taking a hit on that because we could probably sell a bunch.
Right.
But we still want to support the brick and mortars.
Right.
And we want to push customers there still at times.
You want to make sure that they don't feel like Amazon is cannibalizing them or anything.
Right. Because that is sort of where their heads go.
For sure.
Is that you're trying to steal their customers, and we want to prove that we're not.
Yeah.
And you were talking earlier, when we do a launch, we send it to the retail stores at least a week or two before we actually launch it, or we give them the opportunity to buy it.
Right.
And I think at this point the demand is so strong that they know that if they don't get that on their shelves, they are gonna probably come to our website and pick it up the first round. So they react quickly. And they do get the product on their shelf, so it helps us all around.
Yeah, I imagine after 12 months of every
launches,
eventually people realize okay, we got to get ahead.
We got to get ahead of this, yeah.
Because I'm sure the first couple ones where you say we're doing this early, whether or not people really want to jump in, but I'm sure that some of them sold out,
and they didn't believe that it was a limited edition. They thought we would just have it forever.
Yeah, and
eventually we started running out.
Yeah,
and we didn't bring it back.
I loved the vault idea that you guys.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
So can you explain what the protein vault is?
So that's a concept that kind of predates me.
Oh, who wants to explain what the protein vault is? Kate, or who came up with this idea?
We came up with the vault idea years ago, basically because people would call, people are calling right now, hey, where's pistachio? It's a summer flavor. We don't have it. So during the year, throughout the releases, we take 72, 144, just depends on the bottles, but we take that and we put it in a little piggy bank, and we save it. And then Black Friday comes and we open that vault, and so every flavor that you've wanted that we've launched throughout the year that maybe you couldn't grab, Or maybe you're like, you know what,
Too late.
I really want that pistachio. Like, I know they had pistachio last year. Like, they only released this many. This is that opportunity to get it. So it's full vault opening.
I think it's really cool because at Black Friday you get so many unique flavors together.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, we have 50 flavors on our website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much to the chagrin of the warehouse, but
Yeah.
And we create FOMO, fear of missing out
Absolutely.
throughout the year. And then they know Black Friday, they need to be there. So now,
Because there's only so many too. It's even
so
more
many.
limited.
It's very limited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you could get like a summer flavor and a Christmas flavor together.
Exactly.
Possibly,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's kind of cool. It's exciting. For a few years, we kind of did less coverage of Black Friday because it was just kind of like, well, we can get these same deals most of the year.
Just a sale.
Like,
Yeah.
deals are nothing new. It happens. So it's that is a unique, different way to run it, and I think that's what's important right now. Because anyone can go on TikTok and get a 25% off coupon right now.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Anyone can get 3.2 grams of beta-alanine and 25 grams of citrulline, right? Like, like that stuff is a dime a dozen right now. I kind of joke about it, but
It's true.
it's
become commodity.
it has.
Yeah.
Pre-workout has become such a commoditization, especially that, you can go to just any run-of-the-mill retailer and find a really good product.
Yep.
I like that you guys are finding other ways to entice consumers to be excited about it.
Yeah.
Because I think we've talked about this a decent amount on this podcast. Is like there's a certain like nostalgia or glory days to this where like I think everyone remembers like the first time you took pre-workout with your friends. Like like mixing up some pre-workout, getting ready for the gym. Yeah, the first time you drive
to the dome. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think we all kind of remember that, and so to be able to, kind of capture that and harness it and make people excited about it's really special.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, we've been going at this for a while. Is there anything you guys are you want to share? Any new news? Any exciting launches coming that you want to talk about?
Sure. What do we got, Rob?
So actually, it's the product that we took this morning, the Rhino Sport, our newest pre-workout. That's going to be dropping. It's going to be dropping at the Arnold. So we're exhibiting at the Arnold. It's going to be booth 1301, and we're going to be dropping that. We're trying to drop a second product, but that's going to be up in the air, TBD.
Okay.
But
I think it'll happen. We have a bet.
Yeah.
We have a bet.
Yeah, we have a bet going. So
He's challenging me to have the fastest launch of a new product in the history of ever.
Okay.
But I think I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I mean, remains to be seen, but we'll see.
We got $20 on it, so we're getting
$20 is not bad. Okay.
That's lunch. But that's probably one of the main ones we have coming up. I mean, we do have a couple additional seasonals that are going to be dropping in March and April. We do have something lined up for April that I think everyone will have a lot of fun with. A little bit started as a bit of an inside joke, and now everyone kind of gets in on the fun. April 1st.
Yeah. Cool.
But that one's not show business, so
Yeah.
we could talk about that another time.
Yeah. There's some funny videos coming there. We have content coming on a protein flavor that's going to be later this year.
Yes.
So that'll be fun to get to release that. We have a lot of different videos. I think this is some of the most content I've been able to get into 24 hours. Cool. So we're really excited to kind of get this all out. I really appreciate you guys having us and hosting us. This has been a great time. How can people find you guys and your company's social media? Explain.
Instagram, MuscleSport USA.
Okay.
I'm the Sup Chef on Instagram.
The Sub Chef.
The Sup Chef, I believe. Or Sup Chef Official.
I think it might be Sub Chef.
Sup Chef Official.
Okay.
Because I had the Sup Chef and my page got like
Nuked.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Okay.
So Sup Chef Official.
You don't want to follow me on Unhinged, so. No.
Okay.
And
No,
Rob,
I'm the Kate, the Goddess of Chaos on
Okay.
Instagram.
Goddess of
product-wise,
Chaos.
Because chaos precedes greatness. That's
Okay.
what she's taught me.
okay.
Yeah. So when things are not going perfect,
It's teaching
Get
you
excited.
something.
Get
It's
excited.
teaching you something because
That's a good lesson.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a good lesson.
That's why she calls herself that, because she went through some shit in her life, some stuff in her life, and fought back.
And
And
order has come.
we were sort of in the same moment when we were both going through tough stuff, and that's why we're so close, or part of why we're so close.
Yeah.
You know, and
I
part
thought
of
it was-
why the journey is so emotional and real and authentic.
Yeah.
You know,
you guys
for
have definitely shared a lot. I mean, it's really kind of commendable.
We told you we drowned together.
I wasn't sure if I could bring it up.
We got chased by a bear together.
The drowning story and the bear story. There's been a lot of chaos and a lot of order that's come out of it.
But we're not dead.
No,
we're not dead.
But did you die?
But did you die?
We were like dune buggying in the car in the Virgin Islands. Remember that?
Yes.
We ended up with like flat
Who was
tires
driving?
and like
Me.
fire coming out the rims. We showed up at the airport and I was like, oh.
We had to get to the airport, but we were on an island, so we had to take a ferry to the other island to catch the plane. And we were in the middle of, I don't know, it felt like the jungle in St. John's, I believe. And we had a rental car, and I'm flooring it, but it's dirt roads, and we're bouncing.
It was like, whoa,
We got to the ferry.
It was bad.
We finally arrived at the airport. I called the guy I rented the car from. I'm like, the bumper's falling off. You have a flat tire, and there's smoke coming from the car. But I can't hang out. Like, let me know what I owe you. And we dropped off the car at the airport and caught our flight. But that was fun, and that was after we were dating each other for 2 months, and we just drowned together. So we've had a lot of fun.
This is the same trip you guys.
This is the same
Yeah.
trip,
Oh
man.
my God.
This is the same trip. Yeah, we've had a lot. We've actually. That's probably why I'm a lot more calm now, because we went through some crazy fun
Couple
stuff.
near-death experiences
Yeah,
will do that for you.
Not even near death, but
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay.
Interesting. So
Rob, you're private on social media, but I think you're on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
right?
you can find me on LinkedIn, Rob Oberholzer. It's
Okay.
a bit of a mouthful at the end, but you'll find it. It's up
Yeah,
there.
we'll link it all in the show notes.
awesome.
I thank you guys a lot for bringing us out. This has been a lot of fun. I'm really excited to share all the flavor content and to see you guys at the Arnold.
It's been great to get to know you too, Ben.
Thank you guys.
Great
Awesome.
time, Ben.
Thank you.